We are gonna start this delicious soup by taking care of our vegetables first. So we're gonna peel some carrots and then cut them in half and dice them into medium small cubes. Then we're gonna do the same with our onion. We're gonna peel it and chop it finely. Moving on to our celery, we're gonna cut the ribs, but also we're gonna cut the leaves as well. They give a tremendous amount of flavor to the soup. And then this is completely optional, but I like to add a little bit of red bell pepper to my soup as well. Once we have all these vegetables ready, waiting for us on a plate, we can then move on and take care of our peas. So these peas were soaked in water overnight or just for a couple of hours, which is extremely recommended to help the cooking process and also the digestion. We're going to transfer it to a colander and wash it under running water until there is no foam and the water is nice and clear. Then to my pressure cooker, I'm adding a little bit of grapeseed oil, but I want to be honest and say that my mom does not add any oil at all and she does not saute the vegetables. So I'm giving you a take of my version of my mom's soup. I like to give the soup a little bit more depth of flavor by sauteing them just for a couple of minutes. We're gonna add a tiny bit of salt in order to help the vegetables saute faster. And once we have them translucent, we are ready to add our peas. We're gonna give it a quick mix and then we're gonna add our seasonings. We're gonna do a little bit of turmeric, some black pepper, and salt. I like to open the spices with the oil just for a few seconds. And then we're gonna add our water. Because we're using a pressure cooker, it is extremely important to be cautious and not to overcrowd the pot and add too much liquids. And then we're gonna close it and bring it to a boil, and then the pressure cooking starts. Once the soup has cooked for about 30 minutes, we're gonna give it a mix. We're gonna taste test to make sure there are no seasonings missing, and then we're ready to plate. I like to add a little bit of olive oil to enrich the soup. And then a little bit of fresh herbs, which are optional. And then I like to add a little bit of my homemade crouton as well. These are so delicious, and I use my leftover challah or rustic bread to make them. My kids are obsessed with them. And here you have it. This soup is so hearty. I like to add a little bit of black pepper as well on top. But this soup makes the most amazing dinner with some bread on the side, and everyone is so happy. It has so much nutrients. It is loaded with plant-based protein. It is extremely kid-friendly. My babies love it so much. I cannot get enough. I hope you guys are going to give this soup a try.
So we're going to start by cutting the onions into small cubes. The more onions, the better. Once you cut them, move on and chop your garlic into small, little, tiny cuts. Then we're gonna go ahead and drizzle some olive oil into a big wide pot. We're gonna throw the onion in there and we're gonna start to saute them until they're starting to get translucent and a little bit golden. While the onions are sauteing, we're gonna move on and cut a bunch of mushrooms. It could be any mushrooms that you love. It could be cremini mushrooms, or in this case, mini portobello mushrooms. You can even use shiitake mushrooms or even canned mushrooms. I actually love a combination of all different sorts of mushrooms. Once the onions have been sauteing for a little while, we're gonna go ahead and add the chopped garlic, and we're gonna mix it and make sure that the garlic doesn't burn. Once we added the garlic, we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of dried thyme. That's gonna add so much flavor and depth into the soup. It is pretty essential. Then we're gonna go ahead and add the bay leaves. Bay leaves and mushroom soup are just a match made in heaven. They're so special together. It gives another dimension of flavor and it is absolutely delicious. We're gonna continue mixing the onions and all the aromatics just for a little bit more, and then add all the mushrooms, get them into the pot, and have a little bit more of a mix until everything is well incorporated. After a few minutes that the mushrooms have been sauteing, they're gonna release a lot of moisture and a lot of liquids. We're gonna help that evaporate by mixing the mushrooms constantly. Once we reach a point that there is almost no liquid in the pot, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of flour. In this case, I'm using spelt flour, but you can use any flour that you love. I'm using white spelt flour, and any flour should work. After a few minutes that the flour have been absorbing into the mushrooms, we're going to add nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is not mandatory, however, it adds really nice vitamins into the soups and more layer of health. We're gonna continue mixing just for a minute or two, and then we're gonna add a nice amount of water. If you want, you can also use veggie broth or even some white wine if you'd like. And at this point, we're also gonna add some salt and pepper, which are a must. And we're gonna bring this beauty to a boil. We're gonna cover the pot and let it cook for about 30 to 45 minutes until the soup thickens up and the mushrooms are really soft and delicious. And now we're gonna take our miso. Dealing with miso is something that needs to be really delicate because we do not want to ruin the health benefits. We're gonna take a bowl, we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of the white miso. We're gonna add it into the bowl along with some hot water that are not boiled, just nice warm hot water. We're gonna add it and whisk it until everything is incorporated and nicely smooth. The miso is so rich and decadent. It is going to give the soup such a beautiful layer of flavor and umami and depth, which is absolutely beautiful. We're going to add the mixture of miso into the soup slowly until everything is well incorporated. We're gonna keep mixing in a round motion until everything is well incorporated. At this point, it is very important to check for salt and pepper because this is your opportunity before serving the soup to balance all the flavors. So we're gonna add some salt and pepper if needed, and then we're gonna go ahead and chop some fresh parsley because that's gonna give us some beautiful freshness into the soup. At this point, it is optional, but very recommended to add some little bit of plant milk. You can use whatever milk you love. In this case, I'm using some organic soy milk, but you can add cashew milk, you can add coconut milk if you love the flavor. You can add whatever milk you love, and that's going to give the soup nice creaminess and a beautiful dimension of flavor. We're gonna mix the soup and let it cook for 5 minutes more, and then we are ready to serve. I love serving it with some sourdough bread or with whatever crunchy bread that can soak up all those beautiful flavors. We're gonna transfer it to a bowl and we're gonna enjoy it with some fresh scallions on top and fresh parsley, and that's going to be just so comforting, healing, delicious, and nourishing.
We're going to start by placing our dry beans into a bowl, and we're going to cover them with a generous amount of water. We're going to let them sit between 8 to 10 hours or overnight until they're big and plump and ready to be washed. We're going to transfer the bowl to a colander, and we're going to wash the beans under running water until they're nice and clean. Moving on to our garlic, I like to take the bottom part of the garlic and put all the cloves into a bowl and cover them with a generous amount of hot boiling water and let them sit over there for 5 to 10 minutes while we take care of the rest of the vegetables. We're going to peel and dice our onion. After 5 or 10 minutes, we're gonna take our garlic cloves out of the water, and you're gonna see how within seconds the peel is removed from the garlic, and in just a minute you have a whole garlic head that is peeled and clean. We're gonna give them a small to rough chop, and now we're ready to move to the star of the show, our lemon zest. We're going to zest the whole lemon because that's going to take the soup to the next level. And then into a soup pot or pressure cooker preferably, we're going to transfer our onions and our garlic, and we're going to give them a mix until they're nice and fragrant. After a few minutes, we're going to add our lemon zest, and we're going to mix for maybe 30 seconds or so until everything smells amazing and the onions have become golden. We're then going to transfer our washed and cleaned beans. We're going to season everything to taste with some salt and black pepper. We're going to give it a mix. And then we're going to add our water. We're going to add some nutritional yeast, which is optional but very recommended. We're also going to add some fresh rosemary, and if you prefer dry one, you can use dry rosemary as well. We're going to peel and cut our organic sweet potato and cut it into small medium chunks. We're going to transfer them to the pot, and we're going to cover it and bring the pot to a boil. After 10 minutes or so that the soup has been boiling, we're gonna give it a mix, and we're gonna remove our rosemary, because if we leave it there, the leaves are gonna fall and then it is very hard to scoop them out. So all the flavors are already in the soup, or feel free to add it towards the end. After an hour and a half to 2 hours that the soup has been cooking, we're going to add our chopped and cleaned kale. You can also use Swiss chard if you'd like to. We're going to cover the pot and let it sit over there for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And then we're ready to serve. I like to serve this soup with some rustic bread or with some rice, whichever way you prefer is absolutely delicious. I like some sticky rice on the side. My kids are absolutely obsessed with it. We are adding some rice and then we're loading the plate with some more soup, more kale, more beans, and more flavors. We're gonna garnish everything with some crushed black pepper and some olive oil as well. And just to garnish, we're gonna add some lemon zest that we cut with our knives. This soup is absolutely amazing. It is cozy, it is extremely rich, super easy to prepare, and if you want it really quick, use your Instant Pot or pressure cooker, which will make the whole process ready within 30 minutes. If you love soups as much as I do, I hope you're gonna give it a try and share it with your family and friends.
That's it for today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're gonna give this soup a try. If you did, don't forget to let me know in the comments below how it was for you. Also, if you're looking for more recipes that are healthy, delicious, vegan, gluten-free, and so good for you, check out my cookbook, Eggless Possibilities. You can find so many meals that the whole family can enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.